Look at me. Look at me. Look at me ballin'. Get my range up. Look at me ballin'. Got me famous. chaser.
All right, good morning. Good morning. Let's get this rolling. Let's take a quick look here what we have happening coming into the open. So, first thing we'll take a look at is our major levels here. Let's pull that up really quick. Just give me a few seconds. All right. All right, cool. So, this is our open. We are currently in the middle of our 1-day max and our 1-day mid. These are our gamma levels here. So let's take a look. Yesterday's action, we've definitely, obviously we've kind of pulled back tremendously back to the major level, 30,000. We've reclaimed it. So this was interesting. They did make an attempt overnight to try to break below and stay below, unable to do so. So immediately rejected. Price is now migrated back up and we're inside prior day value. So we're going to continue to watch these levels here. So 312, we did get to that level, prior day value high. We ended up rejecting. We can also see 250 being a key level as well. Multiple rejections off 250. So we'll be watching for that as we move into the open. Now, what we're paying attention to is this overall structure. Is this overall trend from yesterday's Globex going to continue to hold this this bear channel that we have printing here? Do we continue to see more down, or do we see a recovery? Right. So, but as of right now, what we're just going to be paying attention to is the current structure that we're trading within. So, once again, 325s down to 3000s. That's our range that we're going to be dealing with, unless we start getting closure above 325s or below 30,000s. At that point, then maybe we'll start seeing some continuation expansion towards our 1-day max, 548s. So for now, I will treat this kind of rotational. So what I'm looking at is just the overall scenario here. We have this high, this low, and now we created a new high. So I'm just going to wait to see if we end up just pulling back and holding, continue higher. Or do we end up continuing, maybe do a failure swing and then continue trading lower? So we'll take a look. Let's see what else we have here. Go to the hourly chart. Yeah, you can see here on the hourly, we did get that breakout and immediately failed. So if we do get another closure back below, that would be a good sign for sellers to be able to get this thing back down. But we'll see. Obviously, we've got that rejection that we've dealt with here. So this is kind of like the zone here that we would need to either support for continuation for buying, or we would need to see it fail, possible for continuation lower. So just kind of going to the left here, watching this overall zone. As you can see, similar price action here. We came in, rejected the level, created this new high. So overall structure that we'll be watching here is that swing from June 30th. So we'll see if we end up using that potentially as an opportunity. If not, then further downside, then we will, once we break, or if we can break 281s, we'll be looking at this wick here, this low from Monday at 273. So that's kind of what I'm paying attention to coming into the open. Let's see here. Let's drop some other levels as we get to approach. All right, so let's go back now. We're beginning to see some pressure coming in. And we will just let price do what it does. All right, let's get this rolling here. Make sure this chat is working. Yeah, it looks like it's working. Okay. All right, there we go. Price beginning to approach that 30,000 level below. We're seeing some aggression come in here. It's also worth noting the ES is coming into a major level as well, 550s. So we shall see if we end up failing our gamma wall here. And if so, if the ES begins to break down, then maybe we see even more of a catalyst for price to drop more down. So we'll see what happens. There we go. 20 seconds to market open. Good luck, everybody. Remember, it's a holiday tomorrow, so it'll be interesting to see what type of momentum, or if any momentum, here today. Looks like they are going to take this thing to 30,000. Maybe we do get under 30,000. We lose 30,000. We're going to have a pretty big, nasty fall. We'll see. So far, nothing really, just a bounce from 30,000 back to 100s or 110s. We can see we're just rotating at the moment between this range. Here's our opening print. So let's see under the 930 open if they're going to be able to stay heavy below. So you can see right here, it's important to watch. I'm going to attempt here to get back above. ES is definitely pumping now from that 550 level, so we'll see if they're going to be able to sustain that move. And then we have some major resistance overhead, 770s, 75s, 80s, so we'll see we have a gamma cluster overhead. We'll see how that affects price. We can see now potential failure off of the 110 level. We'll see. We're still holding the New York Open, so take a look here at Bookmap. Right. Taking a look here at the bigger Renko chart, let's kind of zoom into that real quick. Look at some market structure. We can see that we are holding the mid. So we'll see if they actually recover this thing and take it back to 300s. Looks possible. We'll see if they hold this up. Let's go ahead and go back to the smaller Renko chart. Nice failure there. I would consider that short. If we continue to reject under 150s. Terrible entry. Got stuck there at the bottom. Watching our GEX 4 level. Terrible entry, but my invalid. Technically, I was trying to get in here, but got a little bit slipped there. There we go. Perfect. See if we can get back underneath the opening print here. Bingo. There we go. There we go. Let's get under 30,000 now. Stops to break even. We're already up 200 ticks. Looks like we're going to have a pretty big day. Look at that volatility. Let's go. I will take a portion off already, just in case. Pay myself for that. So I sat through that move, and the reason I held the trade is because I knew the level. I knew my invalidation level. I was watching GEX 4. We saw the first reaction here. came back in, retested, failed, saw the structure. They were trying to buy into it. And this is really, I mean, you know, it can be nerve wracking because you're like, man, these guys are going to like, I think, are you guys, yeah, okay. Are they going to break it out, right? But this is where this is when you would want to watch the time frame charts, because that's where we start paying attention to candle closes, right? So if you look at the candle closure at that level, so GEX 4, look at that. No body closure above, right? That's the key. That's a rejection for me. So here's our GEX 4 level. Price came into it, tried once, tried twice, unable to close above. My invalidation, technically, I would have stayed in that trade. As soon as we got a closure through 150, I'd cut the trade, right? But this would have been the area that would totally invalidated it, right? But this was the major key for me. So kind of watching this overall structure, this move up here, that zone. So that's why I was willing to sit in that trade, even though it was a very, I mean, it's a pretty terrible entry. I normally would not want to take an entry like that. But now we're getting to see price bounce once again. We're rotating here. Will the buyers be able to reclaim? They're going to try once again, maybe at GEX 4. So we'll see if they can. If not, we might get a nice prime short setup and we see another failure here. So we have this structure break, and maybe we find another attempt, and then we get the big dump here. So we'll see. But they're still trying. So now we're seeing that failure. Doing these little structures here. Let's take a look here. Let's go back. Let's get rid of time frame chart. Get rid of the book map for now, and we can just keep it clean. So we're at HVL level, very important, because this is where we can see above it, we're going to see price a little bit more controlled. Below it, price is going to be a little bit wild and volatile. So this is going to be important, because this is going to help determine the type of gamma environment that we're going to be in here. So currently it's a battle between being positive or negative gamma at the moment. Recovery there. So watching again, GEX 4. All right, let's see them try again. So we are actually in negative gamma. So what this means is that dealers are going to be buying to hedge shorts, and dealers on declines, dealers are going to sell to hedge your short gamma positions. So I am using our little AI tool here to tell me in real time what's going on in the market. Sometimes we just don't have the time to sit there and look at a bunch of stuff, right? So we need information on the fly. There's that breakout. So that was the opportunity for the sellers to lock in underneath 30,000. Unable to do so, price reclaimed. So bulls back in control. Aggressive buying on the ES. We are creating a higher high at the moment. So ES is ripping. Beautiful rejection there. Look at that. back underneath our gamma. I'm going to take another attempt here at a short. Another shit entry. Big nasty rejection there off the GEX 4. We'll see if they recover here. This would be the pullback for, if this is going to trend up, this would be the pullback buy. Let's see. I still haven't been able to break up above that level. I will continue to try one more time. If they reclaim this zone here, 140s. If this fails, this is going to probably get back down to 30,000s. If it holds, then we'll be looking at 300s will be the destination there. We'll see what happens here. This is the pullback buy for buyers. Let's see if this GEX level is going to break or they're going to hold. Let's see. Yeah, they're still holding that. The area I really was hoping to get down to be like 29,000s. That's what I was hoping they were going to do, but they ended up taking it up first this week on Monday. Mm. Oh bueno. All right. So that pullback succeeded. But let's see. We still haven't got a closure through the level here. So just watching here. ES obviously has created a higher high if you're watching the ES, but it's also at 775.80 and beginning to struggle here at this level. We're now testing the 200s. ES is already above its overnight high and above prior day high. Well, NQ's struggling here. Now just keeping my eyes over here as we approach our let's why that keeps happening. We start approaching our 25 level here. We're going to see as we start moving to 240s to 325s, important level here. From yesterday, we have our yesterday's point of control, overnight point of control. These guys are attempting here to take out our overnight high, or I should say our 830 high. ES is ripping. Well, major tech news coming out about Anthropic. So unfortunately, I'm just gonna need to wait right now because we've already expanded. We are expanding, so I need to allow price to just, you know, crank, maybe pull back. If we get a nice little deep retracement, we can participate, jump back in, but I can't chase now. So price is already gone. The opportunity was actually here. This was kind of like that momentum opportunity where if it failed, it could have really sold off. But if it succeeded, then obviously we would have the outcome that happened right now. So this was the big pullback opportunity right here. As soon as we got to our bottom band, we could see the big seller came in, and then that was pretty much it. And then the next opportunity to get long would have been on this pullback right here to catch that move higher. So could have caught that second leg. So we're just going to have to wait and observe as we start moving from level to level. And we'll see how strong this move's actually going to be, how much follow through we have. So we've taken out the opening range high. We've broken the high. And we're just waiting to see now if we are going to take out overnight high or not. Maybe this is it. But we'll see. Take a look at that hourly chart. So all they did was just sweep 30,000 underneath these lows. It came right back up. We're getting some rejection here. Let's see. Are they going to continue to sustain this move? Yeah, let's see. Yeah, news here in 5 minutes. I'll try a quick short here, smaller size. Okay, I'm already in 100 plus ticks on that. Are we going to be able to get back to our opening range high? Break even. We'll just wait for this news to come out, and then we can see what happens here. Got it. Sorry about that. Yeah, I took a quick short scalp right here on this prime short for 15 points. I was trying to actually see if I could hold it because we were watching the 10 a.m. open at 257. So what I like about it is the fact that we built some value underneath it and then we traded through it. So we have potentially a failure below the 10 a.m. open. So if that's the case and we can stay underneath, then this becomes kind of like our zone, if you will, that we can potentially lean on. So we don't want to see a reclaim of 257s, right? So that would basically get this hourly candle back to green. So I'm always looking at the higher time frame candle. So the hourly or 15-minute, 30-minute. So we're watching right now because they swept the high, they trade down, but it doesn't mean anything yet. It's all about how they start building structure, where they begin to accept or reject. Now we watch to see, I mean, we have this inside bar on the hourly. They could easily use this to now just hit this high. So got to just be cautious. But in the short term, everyone's trying to buy. But I'm watching this area, this 10 a.m. open as kind of like my structure to lean on. We also have our gamma level here. You can see, let's go back to the 1 minute chart. 240s. So we just broke under 240s. So we'll see if they reclaim that. Look at that rejection. Perfect candle closures. I mean, look at the bodies there. Look at the bodies there. So if anything, now we'd be looking for price to move towards opening range high. But I'm not in it yet. I should have hit that trade on that pullback to the midpoint of this what's our 200 moving average here? So right around 250s. But it's okay. We haven't really. I need to see a little bit more than this. I'd like to see the buyers try one more time and fail. So right now the buyers failed once, right? So we had actually twice. So this would be the first failure right here. And then now we have these buyers beginning to fail for a second time. So about a minute now for the 5 minute to close. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, if you're watching the candle, you can see it expand pretty aggressively now below the prior 5 minute low, but we're now testing the opening range high. So I expect there to be some type of reaction here. You can also see on my charts, lots of selling beginning to come in. Am I still muted? You guys can hear me okay, I think, right? Mic working? Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Yeah, I think it's working. Okay. So that was a pretty dope dump. That's a prime short signal. These are the type of signals that we look for when you're, I mean, obviously we're trending up. We know that every single trend, when it ends, it's going to end with a prime signal, right? Something specifically that we built for our Renko charts. So it ends with a prime signal. Obviously, not every prime signal is going to work, right? But we do know that most of the trends, if you are part of what we do here, we look for these type of extreme moves before we get the rotation to the other side, and which can eventually become the big reversal. So, unfortunately, missed that re-entry opportunity, but there's still going to be opportunity, so we don't have to worry. There's always an opportunity. There's always a pullback. Always a pullback that you can. Well, let me rephrase that. There are times, I'm sure you've all experienced this if you've been trading for any amount of time, where it just keeps going and going and going and doesn't give you a decent, safe pullback, right? So, look at that. That's the trade I wanted. My goodness. That's good. So now we have sellers taking back control of the auction. We've broken through multiple levels. I now like to see some buying come in and then maybe some failures on the buy side, and then we can use those failures against the buyers to get short. This guy from the News Squawk is talking too much today, so we're going to mute him a little bit. Put him in the background. Yeah, let's just drop it just a little bit. I like to keep it running because you never know. Like when something a headline comes out, all of a sudden, boom, everything is ripping, right? So prime long from GEX 4. That would have been a nice scalp right there. Plus we had the VWAP. It's our RTH VWAP. So at 150 level, kind of keeping our eye on that. So looking at this now, I would see, okay, we've reclaimed under opening range high, right? That's the price is 188. Now we're trying to see, are the buyers going to step in, take back control of this move? And if so, then all this really is simply a reload. This is an opportunity to get long again. A better entry, right? This is where you can find these deeper retracements. So we'll see. I'm just waiting now. I would prefer the sell side. I would prefer that we fail here and then we get back to 30,000s. We've had multiple breaks of 30,000s, but we have not been able to stay below. But whatever, we just got to stay fluid. Got to stay, I say, coachable to the chart. So buyers now stepping in. Was this just a reload at the VWAP? That would have been a fantastic VWAP pullback. Two minutes left here on the 15-minute candle to close. See what kind of candle we get on the 15. So right now I'm looking at everything. You know, we have obviously this recovery from 150. 5 minutes is creating a sweep underneath the prior 10-10 candle. 15-minute is about to close in a minute and a half. Looks like it's going to be closing like a doji. Hourly, it's only been 15 minutes of the hourly candle, and we've already swept the high of the hour, and we've recovered from the low. So they ran the high, took it down, bought it back up, and now we're closing right near the opening print here, as you can see. So we'll see if the next 1 minute here, what we get on this 15-minute candle. ES is still pretty bullish, still pushing higher. So that's what's creating this lift on the NASDAQ. The overall broader market is up at the moment, meaning the S&P 500. Oh, here we go. Let's see if these sellers are going to stay. They're showing back up right now. Let's watch. Watching here, this 225 level. We're going to wait for the 15-minute candle to open up, and then from there we can decide. But again, we're just kind of keeping our eye on the key levels here. So that 240 level, you know, not able to close. It closed above, and then it looks like we might be rejecting immediately. But we'll see. Back below 200s. Let's see if we get back below 200s here. Stay below 200s. So retest the opening range high. We could just buy it from right here. So Wow. Nice rejection there. Retesting the VWAP here. We're retesting the 150 level. Sellers back in control. Let's see if they can take out this 150 level. So the helpful thing was on that attempt to reclaim the 10 a.m. open, they were unable to do so. I'm just waiting for like the 5 minute to also give me some more structure to confirm that it's exhausting here. I think we can confirm that it's exhausting here. Yeah. 15-minute now. Trading below its prior 15-minute, so back underneath the 150. We have buyers definitely failing to support the price here. So we're not seeing that panic aggressive selling as of yet. They're still kind of like supporting it on these lower lows. Watching this 150. Looking for maybe reclaim and possible longs back up to test high day. You gonna try? A quick one. If it fails, it fails quick. I'll cut quick. So we're in long. But I will cut this thing pretty quickly. Out. Out on that. Quick. Watching. Sellers still putting their foot on the gas here. And all the way back to New York Open. I think we missed both sides of the rotation. We missed the upside, the run up, and then we missed the downside, unfortunately. But there's no FOMO here. No FOMO here. We don't want to start FOMOing. I'm not really fully convinced yet that this is going to completely dump as of yet. I'm not seeing that, you know, aggression here. I just see it's steady, but I'm still watching how this 5-minute is trading in and around the prior 5-minute low, 15-minute low. So I'm wondering if this is going to be, if they're going to be able to break through this. Yes, 15-minute closure through all these levels, cool. Then for sure we should see more pressure to the downside. But it's still kind of dancing around that 150, 110 level. So kind of just waiting, I guess, to see if there's something else here that we can do. Otherwise, you know, maybe just missed out on the bigger opportunities here for this morning part. But the thing is, 10:30 we set 7 minutes, and we'll have an opportunity maybe trade to one side or the other side of the IV. So we'll give it a chance and see what happens here. I'm watching this 5-minute. I feel like the 5 minutes not fully flipped bearish yet. So I'm just trying to assess if this is simply a pullback or if this is going to be a trend reversal. 1 minute's been obviously giving us lower highs. Our Renko charts are showing us failure swings off our mid, so we've not been able to stay above the 200 moving average. So we shall see. I don't use an indicator to exit. I'm using levels, key levels. I'm watching the key levels. So I watch to see how we interact with levels. So as you see here, we get, this is our gamma level. We get above the level, and then we get below it, above it, below it. And then when we're unable to stay above it, that's the clue. So that's how levels work, right? You're going to see price rotate above and below. So once we get these failures where price is unable to stay above, this is what we consider the failure swing. I mean, traditional, classical support resistance, right? Trendline break, right? But it's not just a trendline break, it's a trendline break after they've attempted to reclaim a level. We have level reclaim, attempt, fail, attempt, fail, attempt, fail. And then we structurally break, and then that begins the process, right? And so that's kind of how I look at it. Same thing happening here, right? So we took out our settlement level, right? Below it. I tried again, below it, again, and now we stayed below it. Boom. So in this case, this would basically be like a support break, right? But it's not just support. We have to look at the level that we're dealing with because it's all about the levels. And it's not just random levels. It's actually important, you know, levels that we're looking at, which is what I call the auction map. Whether it's a GEX level, it could be an opening range, IB, you know, levels we know that are going to have a lot of participation. So 5-minute definitely has confirmed the breakdown. So we've got that low from the, I think what time was this? From 10:20, 15-minute, now really just beginning to fail. ES is just pulling back, looks like to its 9 moving average. So I'm throw that on there and see. I don't really trade necessarily the moving average per se on the time-based charts, but I use it as a reference point, because we know price always is pretty sticky with the 9 moving average. So same example here, we end up breaking underneath the level. They attempted again right there, failed, boom, done. Man, I missed this one. I missed this dump. I think because I took those cuts earlier on, I was a little bit more cautious with trying to jump in and not really have that extra layer of confirmation. And that happens sometimes. You know, you're going to have those instances where you take some losses, and then that's going to obviously have you be a little bit more cautious with jumping right back in, right? And unfortunately, this shit is dumping now, right? It's dumping, but you know, it's okay. It's all part of the process. You know, if we go back and just reflect on what happened here, the 10 a.m. opening print, this is similar to what happened like yesterday and the day before if you're on the live streams, but we end up initially opening up, and this becomes our auction anchor, right? So above the 10 a.m., we expect price to stay bullish, below bearish. So in this case, you see how they attempt once. Oh, sorry, right here, we open up, we drive higher, fail, higher, fail, higher, fail, and then we stay under, unable to reclaim. And this was what I was waiting for. I would have preferred, and I know, Abe, you know what's up with the prime signals. I was hoping we would have gotten like a prime short there, and then that would have been the failure, or the failure swing above the 10 a.m. open. That would have been very nice, similar to this, but I would have preferred it on a second follow-up, right? That would be like a secondary lower high prime short. And then that would have been great, and then we could have risked off of, if we didn't take that one, then we could have risked off the first pullback. And then now we're just finito here. This thing is just displacing all the way down. So are we under 30,000? We are under 30,000. And this is the level that I have been watching for, well, going into Monday, I was already anticipating that 30,000, if it fails, that we would then start making a move towards 29,000. Or at least 29,250s. I think we're going to stay heavy under 30,000 now. There's multiple breaks below. Damn, that was the trade, guys. That was it. So now, what do you do in this instance? Like, the big move has happened, right? Well, the way I look at this now is I frame it where I'm going to wait now for price to get bullish. And then from there, look for the failure. If we're going to stay bearish, if we're going to lean and stay bearish today, like if that's the goal, if that's the objective, if we believe that the market's going to stay heavy based on the higher time structure, then all we need to do is just wait now for price to reclaim, recover a little bit, and then we just wait for a failure. Once we get a failure, then we can just re-enter. But now, you know, you got to think about the way a trend is, like what the life cycle of a trend. You know, and so where are we in the life cycle of a trend? So to keep it very, very simple, you have a trend, the start of a trend, the middle of the trend, the end of the trend. What does the end of the trend look like? The end of the trend looks like strength. It looks like momentum. It looks like a capitulation. It looks like a parabolic move. That's what the end of a trend looks like. So the end of a trend, and then we get a failure, right? The initial break. That initial break isn't necessarily a confirmation. It could simply be a trap and it goes higher, right? So we don't, you know, if you're taking the small time frame, if you're looking at small time frame, you could absolutely trade this. It's typically what I do, but you want to wait for that guaranteed confirmation for the actual bigger part of the trend, which would be the middle of the trend. So once we get that first break, we get the first pullback, and it proves to hold. Then you look for some type of failure swing, and for us, that failure swing could easily be the prime short. It could be a trifecta short. On a candlestick chart, it would look like a sweep of a high and then close down. Technically, the failure occurred right here where the buyers got back in for a second time and failed, and then you could have entered right there. And so now we have the confirmation. This begins to be the confirming portion of the trend, and now we have that expansion lower. So now we wait to see, is this going to lead to another pullback, and then we get more low, right? And that's where we start looking at structural levels to see about, we watch the reclaims. So if price starts reclaiming important levels, that tells us, because the way it works with support resistance, especially when you're using gamma levels, it works like a ladder. They'll use a level, spend some time, get some acceptance there, and one of two things will happen. It's either going to expand higher or expand lower, meaning it accepts higher, it begins to migrate higher, or it rejects. So when we start building or recovering, that's what we're paying attention to. So right now, we've got this major move down, strong move down. If I short this right now, that means I'm expecting that this is the pullback. And the only thing I can really confidently maybe, you know, think about in terms of taking targets would be maybe to this low, because we've expanded so much. What would be much better is if we start seeing price create some buyer interest, and then we can look for the bigger move down. Now, if we're scalping smaller time frames, which is what my Renko chart is, you can take these failure swings. We call it prime shorts. So we get extreme to the other side of the Bollingers, and then we fail, and then that would be the scalp, right? But again, this is already late. We're already late in this 1 minute trend. So, you know, you're not going to get, I mean, maybe you will if the trend is so strong. I mean, what time is it right now? 10:33. Let's take a look at that 15-minute candle. It just opened up. So there is an opportunity here where for the next 15 minutes, if it does stay heavy, we have a whole 15 minutes that we can sit in the trade and hope for that expansion. But you can see how immediately on this 30-minute open, they reclaimed a level. Right, so that's what we watch because I'm trying to time the entries because the goal is to be in sync with the 15-minute or the 1 hour candle expansion. Why do I want to do that? Well, because if you look at the average range or true range, let's say of a 15-minute candle, currently today it's 381 ticks. This is how you catch big trade, right? 15-minute candle, ATR average 381 ticks. So if the 15-minute candle, and obviously the last 15-minute was the big candle, but point is, this is actually based on like the last 14 candles. If the ATR is 380 ticks, how easy is it going to be for you to capture 100 ticks? Pretty freaking easy, right? But it won't be easy if you're entering at the end of a 15-minute candle, right? Or even at the beginning, because you don't know which direction it's going to go in if it's the beginning. And if it's the end of that life cycle of that specific candle. Let's take a look at the hourly. 519 ticks. How much did we already move? So in this 1 hour, we've already moved 1,000 ticks. So what's the chances that we're going to end up moving another 1,000 ticks or 500 ticks? Maybe we move another 100 ticks, 200 ticks. Yeah, that's possible. We still have a lot of time on this candle. But we know the average, you know, obviously it's taking into consideration Globex, which is much smaller, less volatility and all that. But 519 ticks, we're already at 1,200. So for me, we're already too expanded on the hourly window for us to, or at least for me to try to like catch a huge expansion. But that's why the 10 a.m. was so important, because if we catch the 10 a.m. candle, if we catch that entry, then we can hold it for 30 minutes to an hour. And if we know the ATR is 500, 600, 700 ticks on the hourly, what's 300 ticks? What's 400 ticks? It's nothing, right? So the truth of the matter is you're not trading a 1 minute chart. You're not trading a Renko chart. What you're trading is time. You're trading the range of possibility for that higher time frame candle. At least that's what I do. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do, but that's what I try to accomplish here. And I think I fumbled it here at 10 a.m. because I technically was in that short, but unfortunately my target was literally just 60 ticks, and that was it. And then I was looking to see if it was going to sweep below and then reclaiming and maybe give us a retest or move back higher. It didn't happen, right? So, you know, it is what it is. So new 5 minute and 5 minute candles are like 300 ticks right now. So 300 ticks. We are at 29,900 and we are holding this level. So this thing is probably going to continue to trade lower. I'm thinking 29,000s is where we want to go. Let's look at that real quick. So this is kind of what I'm watching. So you just look at what happened here. This whole area here. This is from PCE. I look at everything in relationship to the news cycle. So news cycle, we had this massive displacement to the downside, and then we built a nice consolidation, a nice range right there, right? That range, this was Thursday of last week, Friday of last week, this was Monday. So Monday, we open up, this is 9:30, where's 9:30? I think it's like right here. 9 a.m., we could just use 9 a.m., it's right there. That's our weekly open, so that's probably where we're gonna go test next. Initially drive lower, we fail to take out these lows, and I'm watching 29,000. Why am I watching 29,000? Because we've already failed the 31,000 level. We've broken below 30,000. We spent a ton of time below 30,000. We had a failure above 30,000 here, and then we failed here. Okay, so I was already seeing weakness above 30,000, not really, you know, strong participation, but this was obviously going into news, and then we get the big dump. Then Monday they reclaimed a level, and that reclaim for me initially was just a repair of this data high. So they came in, and then we used Jolt reports catalyst to drive it higher. So then at this point, for me, I was like, well, if they reclaim and stay heavy or stay firm above 30,500, then yeah, maybe we get that move back to 31,000 and take out these highs that also need repairing, right? It's unfinished business up here. And if not, and we can get back below 30,000, then we have some work to do down below. So this area here, 29,793s is kind of like what I was anticipating, at least the 73 level. So we'll see if we get this closure through it. Tomorrow's a holiday, so I'm not expecting much, and then maybe next week. It all depends on what happens with this 30,000 level and then coming into the weekly open. So if we end up closing back above 30,000, that changes the dynamic a little bit. So higher time frame bias is all based on this pivot right here, and then of course our weekly open. So maybe next week, if we can gap down or we end up getting some acceptance below 714s, 29,000 becomes easy. And then if we know that going into the week, well, that kind of sets up our game plan pretty much each day and what we need to do. All right, so let's get back to the charts here. So you can see them holding 29,000s. Looks like we're beginning to consolidate here. What time is it? It's 10:39. They've already taken out the IB low. It's a pretty big range, right? The IB range is pretty significant today, just like yesterday, about 1,600 ticks. So what I'd like is maybe a move back to the mid of the IB. That gives us about 600 ticks of movement or space, maybe 800 ticks of space from the low, and then we can get short. And if we don't catch the full move back to below, we can catch at least, 30% of it, 20% of it. But because if I'm shorting this right now, I'm anticipating where's our next, structural low that they're going to be aiming towards. Well, it would be the weekly open at 714s. And there's still some distance there too, but do I really want to risk? Do I really want to bet that they're going to break support? Because they technically, they broke this level here and then they reclaimed it, right? So it's kind of like, let's be smart about it. All right, let's see. 10:30 a.m. open print. Just rotation right now. Rotation. Crazy orders on the S&P 500. We have a big bid down below at 800s on the NQ. So they're throwing some large orders down below. You can't see it because it's really far down. I know some people don't really look at liquidity far away from price. I get that because it's the liquidity that's closest to price that's going to have the most impact on price. But I like looking at large size. We call it tier 2 liquidity because that actually, from my experience in watching the book, liquidity is at these levels actually are part of the roadmap. It's part of the agenda. Man. Wow, very nice. Smooth trends. Smooth trend. So again, hourly expanding. Where are we at now, this hourly candle? We still have like 20 minutes left. 15-minute back-to-back expansion, taking out yesterday's low. So we took out prior day low and prior day high. So we have a what we call outside daily candle, where meaning it trades above and below, takes out both sides of the range. Well, actually, no, sorry, it just took out the overnight high. It did not take out prior day high. My bad. Man. All right, got a new 15-minute candle here opening up in a minute. It's going to take some time for that 15-minute swing. I mean, what just happened right now, it's going to, I mean, buyers are not, I mean, they're going to have a lot of work to do to be able to take this thing back up. So we'll see if they're going to start consolidating a little bit, maybe start building a range. We can maybe play the range until the next expansion. All right, there's the new 15-minute. Nice rejection there off 850s. Volatility's pretty crazy here on the 1 minute, 200 ticks. So got to size accordingly. So just keep watching here. Obviously heavy overall. Just kind of watching the interaction of price around 800s. I'm going to displace through these lows and maybe get to our put support down at 750s. Just waiting, watching. Maybe I don't even take another trade. Maybe that's it. You know, just sit there and just not force anything. You know what I mean? Because the only thing, I mean, the only reason why you'd get long right now is there's a thought that maybe we find a support level here underneath these lows, and we end up double bottoming, and then they protect this low, and then we just end up taking it up higher. You know, that would be the only real reason. We do have put support at 750, but I don't know if we're going to see this 15-minute candle reclaim this entire prior 15-minute. So, you know, coming into the open, I was talking about the 250 level being the important level, and it actually ended up being the important level. GEX 5, our gamma level, was that failure swing where we end up closing above, immediately close back under. That would have been the short right there. on the 15-minute. But again, you're risking the fact that ES at that time was creating higher highs and trending strongly. So if you're looking at confluence between the two, you'd be a little hesitant. And I think that's kind of why I was a little bit more hesitant as well. Just the initial strength on the ES, but all good. There's that prime short right there. Would that have given us our scalp targets? Yep. These are the type of plays that we look for scalping when we're in a downtrend. Prime shorts. The way it works is price trends, respects the little moving averages or whatever, and then extreme, and then goes. So this little spike, that's that prime short right there. You notice every single prime short we had in a downtrend ends up leading to the next impulse leg, right? Prime short, now we get impulse leg. So this thing is relentless at the moment. Okay. All right, nice little reclaim there. Nice little energetic move. All right, you got 30 seconds now for the 5-minute to close. Is this going to be a low or high failure? What are they going to do here? They did stack some bids here, as you can see, and they were filling all these bids. Only bid they left behind was a 750 down here. We got 10 minutes left now for this 1-hour candle to close. So typically at the end of the hourly candle, you're going to see a retracement. So if it's an up candle, you're going to see a retracement off the high. If it's a red candle, you're going to see retracement off the low. So they're just forming potentially the low and the close here of the hourly. So we got that doji on the 5-minute. So this is what you want to watch for on the 1-minute chart. You want to look for the range. It might be hard to see on the Renko chart because price is so volatile. This is when it's probably a good idea to actually use a bigger Renko chart. Let's see if we can pull that up too. But this is the range that we're going to watch. So we'll see if price moves back towards 900s to 30,000s. What happens if they can even get up there, right? I mean, we'll see. And then for the big Renko, do I have that on here? Let's see. Yes. The big Renko, it's just been from 10 a.m. Where was 10 a.m.? This is 9:30. Yeah. It's just been heavy ever since. I mean, there's really, it's just been clean, smooth rejection there. Every 50 moving average touch has failed, or has worked, I mean. But you can see a 30,000 pullback was really, really nice right over here. And then this would have been the ideal entry, confirmed entry. We get that pullback to the 50, boom, that would have been the play. So there's that lower high failure right here from that prime short. And that's it. That's it. So all these people, when we got this movements up here, it's all buying, aggressive buying. And now, we're underneath all that trap volume. So we'll see when they come back into it again. So we're just going to wait another 5 minutes for this hourly candle to close. What time is it? It's already 8 o'clock. Sorry, I'm on the Pacific time. So 8 a.m. Pacific time. Range is pretty crazy today. ATR. Pretty wild. That was a great day, actually. I mean, if you were in this trade, you would have been. It was an epic trade. This would have been an epic trade. All right, all right, all right. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. We're also near our 1 day mid. Okay. Buyers keep failing above 800s. All right, look at that. Let's see. So, where is our opening price? It's just our 15-minute open here. They're trying to close back above here for 10:45 candle. We'll probably see price come to 850s, and we'll see if they're going to reject again. You can see how they've been rejecting. We can adjust this now. It's our put support level. I'm just going to go ahead and refresh these bids, see if there's anything active that's interesting. Nice bounce there from 750s. All right, we got the new hourly opening print. We get back above 30,000, I would probably consider getting long again, but until then, I'm just anticipating more selling. But we'll wait. We'll just watch and see what happens here. Got a prime short. Not taking that one. I'm going to be watching this IB low, 910s, maybe get that retest. Some failure, then possible short back into the low day. So we're looking for see if we can get price, if price starts to start grinding up and giving us a nice little move that we can start building some range on. So on the 1 minute chart, it looked like this. Got this obviously consolidation, breakdown off of our put support, reclaimed 800. There's our opening print. If they can just kind of give us some movement like that, then I'd be looking for opportunities. We move into this prior zone here. So we will see how this unfolds. Those strong bids at 185, you can see they couldn't even get through them. Are we already failing at the overnight low here? Let's see if these sellers end up taking control early on. I don't know why people would ask me what the YouTube channel is. Why don't you just search for it? Just search for it, buddy. You know, some people, they need to be spoon-fed everything, right? They don't have time for that. You can't figure out how to find a YouTube channel for something. I don't think you're going to make it as a trader. You guys, I obviously just started to YouTube stream. I did it before, and then just started streaming only in my group, and now we're doing it again. So it's just curious for those who are watching. I know it's not a lot of people, but you know, based on what you're seeing here, actually, let's just focus on this really quick as we start breaking down. Hold on. Let's see. These buyers are not buyers, sellers are beginning to press. Failed at 11 o'clock open. if I was only looking for scalp plays, I mean, there was a ton today, but unfortunately, I think my mind was set on catching bigger moves. But there was a ton of scalp opportunities here today. And of course, the bigger move I missed. So unfortunately, yeah, what can you do? It fell again above 800s, 850s. Oh boy. Man, this shit's gone again. We're now testing the weekly open, the 714s. We start getting below that. That means the weekly candle is bearish, becomes bearish, and go from green to red on the weekly. And that could be pretty crazy, considering that we're also negative gamma. Oof. Where's our one-day min? So we're expecting the min of the session to be 640s. So that is interesting as we start approaching it. This probably is going to fail the prime long because we just had a new expansion lower. So the strength is active. Sellers are here, pressing. Large bids there at 700, 900 contracts. We had 285 contracts. They just traded through, no problem. We are now under the weekly opening print. Let's see what happens here. Are they going to get violent and just ram it all the way down like they've been doing? My gosh. Oh, a move already up, down another 900 ticks on the hourly. Jeez. $2026 has been different, huh? It's been different. All right, testing that one-day min. Let's see if there's any type of reaction here. Quite possible they will trade through the min, eventually recover, and we're still stacking bids below. So there's a bid down below 600s. Okay. Right off the one-day min. Wow, that's nice. Any chance they give us a pop here? We are inside the Monday range. Okay. Any chance? Any chance they've or if they're going to reclaim this 714 weekly opening price? Maybe that's what they're going to try to do here. All right. We still have a long way to go for this recovery, but let's see. Pretty nice move there from the one-day min. Big recovery off our one-day min. Wow. All right. So now we know where there's some protection, some support. We found the support level, 650s. All right. So watching that 11 a.m. open, see if that's where they're going to try to pull back to. But I'm not interested in buying. I don't want to be a buyer. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for price to move to a level and that I can maybe lean on to get short. We're getting a prime short right now on the Renko charts. Don't think it's ready yet. I have to wrap up the stream here in about 10 minutes. FYI, but we will be back on Monday. So it doesn't look like I'm gonna be taking much more unless I can really get to a level that I can feel, confident in, which would probably be around 800s, give or take, or we get another strong move up. I would like to see a second attempt here by the buyers. I want to create some type of swing low here, push up higher, then maybe look for some failure. But I don't know if that's going to happen on my timetable. I have somewhere to be in about an hour or so. Yeah, so I'd want to see a second drive up, right? And then some type of failure. We're just watching and waiting here for the next few minutes and see if we get something. But just a nice little pop that just happened. 15-minute candle's going to close, so maybe this next 15-minute we get some other more retracement. We need more of a pullback, higher prices. Just because we had a nice little pop off the one-day mid does not mean it's going to hold the support. We need to see it actually prove itself, right? That's why I'm not trying to buy, because it could be flimsy. We need to see it actually, in order for, when we're in a strong downtrend like this, in order for you to take this or even consider taking some long trades, when you find a support level where we get some type of meaningful reaction, ideally what you really want to see is we hit the level once, we hit it twice, maybe even get below it, and then we reclaim, spend some time, and then take it above. But, you know, sometimes you get these V-bottom reversals, and if that's the case, you don't want to see it retrace like this. A V-bottom should immediately reclaim the prior range, then we get that trap low, and then it can go higher. That's ideally, if it's truly a V-bottom reversal, that's what it should do, right? So now, because we've pulled back into, or pulling back into our one-day mid, I want to see this thing actually break down. I want to see sellers get trapped below a level. So similar to what we're seeing here at 700s, we had sellers push price down. So these guys technically, you know, if they got trapped, but they were selling nonstop this entire move, right? So still, these guys are in the money, right? We pulled back to the midpoint, but this could be a good opportunity where they create this little pullback trap and then they rip it up higher. So the way I see it, if this is even a possibility, which it's probably not even going to happen, but we get price to come below, spend some time like that, and then boom. But again, the market is pretty heavy. And in order for that to happen, we would need the hourly chart and a 15-minute chart to actually line up with this to make sense. So what that would mean is I don't want to have a big-ass 15-minute candle while that pattern's beginning to unfold, right? So, because again, we're not trading a 1-minute chart, we're trading a 60-minute and a 15-minute chart. So that's our hourly right now. It's testing our weekly open. So people are trying to buy support. They're going to get washed out. Sellers have not been trapped at all this entire time. I mean, even here when I was explaining the 1 minute scenario, sellers under 700 yes got trapped, but they're already back in the money. So, you know, typically where their stop losses are, they'd still be in the trade. Oh, just waiting to see. I can't be shorting these shallow retracements. You can't be buying a pretty strong, consistent, smooth, controlled downtrend, right? The controlled move down. Just look at a 5 minute chart. It's just been very organized, clean structure. It's like the smoothest trend ever. The smooth, slow trends are the relentless, you know, trends that you just trying to counter that. You're gonna. It's not good for your soul. It's not good for the soul. Look at the 1 day min again. I kind of like how the body could not close through it. Let's see. Still not enough for me to say, yes, let's attack. I've been pretty hesitant this session. Did take, obviously, some losses today. So I'm not in a rush to try to just like catch a reversal and then try to make back those losses in one big trade. You know, I mean, that happens sometimes. You get triggered, you get FOMO'd out. You're like, well, the trade's already gone so much. You know, I can't short this thing. So you start forcing an idea to buy the thing. And then that becomes pretty dangerous because then you're fighting, you know, an oil tanker, right? And when this thing is just slow grind down, it's just, yeah, it's brutal. ES, is it put support? Okay. There we go. Now they're beginning to show some trappy trap. Not enough yet. Not enough yet. Not enough yet. Not enough of a trappy trap. I want like closure underneath it. I want to see some strong closure that looks aggressive and then a reversal above, back above. If I can see some strong aggressive selling through or below 640s and then we get reclaim, that's what I like. That I can do that, you know? And maybe we don't catch a full range and that's fine, you know, but we can at least catch 25 points, 50 points, 100 points. What time is it? 10, 11, 21. I would like this 15-minute to like, well, here's the thing. The same thing could be happening right now with this put support level on the 15-minute chart. Oh, actually, I had it up already. Okay, let's put it back. We'll be here. Yeah. So if this is a 15-minute chart, close under put support. Now this 15-minute candle looks like it's bearish, but if we close back above put support, that could be enough. That could be enough, right? And then I'd be looking on a 1 minute or my Renko charts to look for a prime long entry, as long as we don't fail back below and put support. So above 750s, if we can get a 15-minute closure and we can stay above it with the 1 minute, 5 minute Renko, all that, then maybe we can catch a counter trend trade. But, you know, it's not there yet. It's not there yet. Counter trend trading. A man's worst friend. How many of you guys like short selling better than you like buying? Am I the only person? I know most people are kind of like, most people, I don't know, they try to short sell. I don't know if it's like a human nature thing or what. It's just like, it's gone up too much, I got to sell it. Or it's gone down too much, I got to buy it. You know, it's kind of like buy low, sell high, I guess. It's pretty tough. They're trying to get buyers in this mix off this level. They're trying to build a base here, but it just feels like a scam. Feels like they're scamming. It's the third attempt now for the sellers to get under 640s and have not been able to. Let's see, 640s. Look at that. So watching that 640 level. Yes, my gamma levels are on the book map. you're interested in getting some gamma levels, let me know. We got them. If you want some gamma levels, you can just comment gamma, send you a link, or just go to our website and you can learn more about it. We get them for NQ and for the ES. And pretty powerful stuff. I mean, trading without gamma levels is tough, man. It is tough. Man, look at that shit. Okay. Let's go. Are they going to give us a pop here? I'm waiting for this 15-minute to maybe give me something. Let's see. 15 minutes. Can we get back above? Put support. And hold above. Because they failed, technically, right? They closed, they attacked it, boom, broke it. I want to see price close back above, hold, and then rotate back up to 30,000s. And then the real short will happen. Then we can really get, planned a nice short, then we can get some range. I don't want to be shorting the bottom, bro. It's like you short the bottom, it's like, okay, boom. I need at least like 30%, if you use Fibonacci as an example, which I don't, but you can. It's helpful to just look at, okay, this is the midpoint. Man, I need at least a 600 tick range for this trade to make sense for me. Not that I'm going to catch 600 ticks necessarily, but at least if I'm going to catch 150, 250 ticks, then cool. So we use gamma. The way we use it is it basically is our auction map. It tells us where the dealers are going to be taking action because these guys have to hedge their options positions. So they use futures to do so, right? They're buying QQQ, so they're buying calls on QQQ or NDX. That means they're going to be selling the NQ futures contracts because they have to keep their order book balanced. So these levels, I know, there's a lot of methods in terms of looking at support resistance and liquidity, just depending on what you use. I use order flow, I use price action, I use Renko, all that stuff. But what I found in my time in trading and spending a ton of time, obviously, looking at different systems and different market conditions, we want to know not levels where we think are important. Like a lot of times I'm gonna draw a trend line and we're like, oh yeah, there's a trend line here, but that's just what you see, right? And so we want things that are not necessarily subjective. We want it where it's like, well, this is a fact. We know for a fact that this is where the dealers are. This is where they're going to take action. That's how we use it. So it tells us where the actual true dealers are in position, where they're exposed, where they're going to likely take action to hedge their positions. And this gives us somewhat of an indication, like a GPS system going into the session. So rather than going into the day, like I look at it like there's two different type of levels that you have to be aware of. You have your fixed levels, which for me, what are fixed levels? It's going to be the auction map, the gamma levels, as well as what I call major quarters. Those are fixed levels. So every day at midnight, the gamma levels update. This is our dealer positioning. This is what it is. This is where the largest exposure for gamma, for dealers, this is where they're at. So we know this. The next thing we look at is fresh levels, which are real-time update, meaning price action structures like initial balance, like an opening range, stuff like that. Those are things that are created real time as the market, is open and whatever. So when you understand all that, then it becomes a game of, okay, where do I want to take a trade, right? So that's what these levels are used for. We begin to start looking at the location first, and then we start using Renko and we use order flow to confirm the timing of the trade. So the way we use gamma, or the way I use it, is to give me a kind of like a lay of the land. It's my architecture for the session. So like, let's delete all this stuff and we can kind of just zoom into this really quick and maybe visually you can see. So this is the 15-minute chart on my left. And so this is the entire structure of the day, right? This is it right here. So the most important levels to pay attention to initially every night, actually, I look at this, is going to be our 1 day max, our 1 day min. This is what we call our expected range based on options positioning by the dealers. So based on this is the most range that we should expect price to move in a day. And statistically, it's like 90% likely that we are going to close within this range. Even if we trade outside of it during the session, like 90% of the time, we're going to close back inside. So that's important information. So right now, that's why I'm not shorting, because we're at the 1 day min. Why would I short the 1 day min? I know that 90% likely we're going to end up bouncing off of it. So this is what I mean when I say location first. Now we have our location. Now it's like, well, how do I frame a trade? What am I going to do? Do I want to be a buyer here? Well, if I want to be a buyer, that's when I start looking at the other levels, quarter levels. Then we start using our other tools to make sense of it. But again, knowing that this was here is pretty important, because otherwise, if you're just thinking, oh, I'm just, trend trading, I'm going to sell the moving average, and you just blindly keep doing that, that's fine. But then when you get your face ripped off, you're going to be like, well, what happened? My moving average didn't work. My fair value gap didn't work. My order block didn't work. My, whatever it is you're looking at didn't work. Well, it's because you're unaware of these gamma levels. So that's how we kind of use it. Support resistance, it's magnets for price. And the key is, it's not like, oh, I see a level, it touches it, I'm going to sell it, or it touches it, I'm going to buy it. Like, that's not how you trade support resistance. When we get to these levels, the most important thing is watching for acceptance and rejection of these levels, right? So that's kind of like my framework is I'll look at the gamma levels, we'll look at the auction map, step 1. Step 2, I look at the higher time frame, 1 hour, 15 minute, because I want to understand the auction. Like, every 15 minutes is a new auction. And when I say auction, what that basically means is, in that 15-minute window, who's in control? Who's going to dominate that 15-minute candle, buyers or sellers, right? Because if I'm trying to sell, if I'm selling, but in that 15-minute window, buyers are in control, I'm going to get stopped out. I'm going to get hurt. So I'm not interested in what's happening necessarily on my, I see on the 1 minute chart we're bearish. I'm looking at the auction on the 15-minute, and then my goal is to get in sync with that 15-minute on the smaller time frame. So that brings me to step 3. Step 3 is then you begin to start hunting your trade setups, right? And so you can use catalysts like order flow. And so our indicator we have called liquidity levels. It starts plotting orders, large orders. Here, I'll show you. Let's go back to 1 minute chart. Okay, so this is an example right here. So we can see as we got to our 1 day min, they put a bid of 135 contracts down to 600. Is that important? Absolutely, that's important, because this was here before this reaction, right? That's how order flows work. Yeah, everything's for Ninja Trader, dude. Everything. See, they just put an offer right here at that level. Important, right? It's going to create a reaction. So this is like the step 3 part, but it doesn't mean you enter a trade. And so that's where order flow traders get wrecked, because they're like, oh, I saw a large offer, I'm going to sell, or I'm going to buy, or whatever it is. You got to wait. We got to wait. The final piece of the puzzle is the actual execution part, what you use to execute. And so for me, that's where I use the Renko. The Renko is the execution layer for me. It's not my primary. It's not like where I make all my decisions based off it. The Renko chart is telling me where I can find the best entries. It doesn't work on the Ninja Trader app. Actually, that's something we should do. We can probably build that. We're not there yet, but it just currently works on Ninja Trader desktop. But at the end of the day, what you can do is just take the price levels, and then if you have them, right, you can just take those levels and put them on anything. So TradingView, like, you can just manually throw horizontal lines. So, the most important thing isn't necessarily the indicator, it's the actual prices. It's these levels that are calculated. So if you have these levels, I mean, you can manually just like put them on your Ninja Trader app. If I'm not at my computer, I always have these levels. I'm fully aware of where we're at. So if I'm on the go, I can just drop it on the Ninja Trader mobile app. So I'm watching now this 15-minute as we approach put support, if they're going to be able to reclaim. But what's helpful to note is the prior reaction of this put support level. Now, I know it says put support. You might be thinking, wait a minute, support, but you're using it as resistance. Yes, I know. That's how it is. It's not just like, it doesn't matter if it's support or resistance in terms of these levels. Put support, it means is where there should be buying happening underneath these levels. Okay, so buying, it did happen, just didn't happen exactly at the level. right? But if the buying is not able to hold, and buyers do not, if the liquidity and the orders that are coming in are unable to support price above put support, that tells you something. That tells you that, hey, this market, the sellers are just overpowering, and we just need to respect that. But we're reclaiming that. Look at that entire rotation from the 1-day min. Let's see. I'm still leaning. Obviously, I'm still bearish. I would still be looking for opportunities between 800, 900, this area here, assuming that we don't start building value above 800s again, building consolidation and hold, because then that could be what they use to just start building a ladder higher. We're getting extreme here on the Renko chart. That's good. Watching this 15-minute. We still have not really yet closed the put support level, so we're just probing it. This could be where the short comes in, so we'll see what happens if these guys are unable to hold this level. You see that put support? They just retested it. We're now moving into the zone here. All right, let's see. We're getting nice movement through put support. Approaching 800s. Let's take a look at that hourly candle. Trying to reclaim that put support level here, or I'm sorry, not put support, but the 821 at prior low. Okay, what time is it? I've got to wrap up. I got to jump off the stream, guys. But we will be back on Monday. And what I'm going to do over the weekends, I'm going to put together some videos for YouTube. Because I know most people, if you're jumping on here, you're probably like, what in the hell is on this guy's chart? It looks crazy. Like, what does it all mean? I get it. Unless you're inside, unless you've taken one of the programs or you're inside our community, you have no idea what this is. Or maybe you do, I don't know. But everything you see on the charts is pretty much a framework that we use. It's a combination of things. It's the auction, right? So we use the auction map. Then we have our order flow, where we look at bids and offers and stuff like that. And that's our liquidity levels indicator you see there. And then we have our Renko level, and that's where we get our trade signals, the entries, right? And that's what you see on this chart. All these are buy opportunities, sell opportunities, and you have the ability to also use auto entry. So we actually have a trade pad where you can preset your entries, boom, take the trades, what have you. Obviously, I don't recommend doing that if you have no idea what the system is. But we built these things to kind of help automate a lot of that stuff. But we're also building other things too, like we have Vega AI. I haven't put it on here today, but let's take a look at it, because this is actually reading the market for us. This is cool, right? So it's telling us exactly what's going on with the auction. Think about it like watching the World Cup and you have a commentator telling you play by play what's happening. So in case you're confused, you can just look at the AI and the AI will tell you what it is, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll drop some videos probably over the weekend, kind of breaking down some things, at least the basics. At least the basics, man. Watching this 800 level, I kind of like it. Let's go back to that 15-minute chart. I definitely have to jump off here. 15-minute and about, what do you call it here? Let's refresh this really quick. This is the kind of pullback I'm looking for to get short into, to be honest. So I'm just waiting to see if we can get something, but I also have to get going. So may not be able to participate, but that's okay. So took some cuts today. Last 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, have been pretty good. 3 days have been pretty epic. So if you've been on the live stream, you probably caught or seen some of the trades that we caught. There we go. So buyers testing 2,900, 29,000. Is that right? Big figure buyers in control. 29,000. I was looking at the bigger. Yeah, control above 11 a.m. All right, let's see. You too. Happy 4th of July, peoples. You guys have a great holiday. Looking at this right here. Can we catch a short here? Can we catch a short? I don't know. Let's see. Below 800s, we can probably stay heavy here. If we can stay under 800s. There we go. We'll try. I'm short, but we'll see. Took smaller size just in case, because this thing is the range is quite, volatility is quite big. I will scale in if we do get failure here to accept back above 800s. The 15-minute closes here in 5, so there might still be some energy left on this 15-minute push, but I have to at least try that failure here. Yeah. Let's see if we get back underneath and stay back under. Got that prime short, but let's see. I do have to get going here. They're still propping it up here at 400s. This could be the pullback and they drive it higher, so I got to be cautious here, but that's okay. I mean, it is all good. We'll see. I'm just waiting. Let me get rid of this now so we can watch the 1-minute chart. This is the thing you have to watch out for. Are they going to accept above? Okay, I like that. There's 50 ticks. Okay. Put 2 more on. Let's see if we can stay under 800s. There's 80 ticks. 100 ticks. I'm going to probably take some off here, put support. We can just get underneath put support, man, that would be epic. If we get back below put support, I think we see we get back to low day. What do you think? The buyers are potentially failing here. Let's see. Hopefully they don't reclaim this low here. Mm. $120 ticks right there. Maybe take some off, but I need a little bit more. I don't want to ruin my average here, so. There's 200 ticks. We'll buy some. We'll close some profits here on that dump. Sick. So now I will be watching put support. Don't want to see price reclaim put support. I just had to be patient, you see. I'm going to take the other contract off. And then we can just trail. We'll just trail. Now we see strong selling come in under put support. We like this. We like this. I'm going to probably try to hold here for 1 day min again. Let's see. We're up to 200 ticks. We got 1 minute left on this 15-minute candle. I got to be careful here. I got 30 seconds, and we need this next candle here to give me some speed. We don't want it to bounce from here because it could bounce from right here. So stop will go above put support. I could re-enter some more if it presents itself. But I don't want to get back too much, so I'm just going to trail here a little tightly. So we ended up catching a trade after all. Just had to be patient, right? I know it was like watching paint dry. We're like, oh, I was like, oh my goodness, I missed out on all these trades, but it's okay. That's why you just got to be patient. And we're getting things moving here. Let's see. New 15-minute candle just opened. We rejected put support, so that's good. So let's go back really quickly to the higher time frame. Let's see. All right, yeah. So you can see we failed to close above. We wicked through it and failed. So they may make another attempt. They may make another attempt. So I'm not gonna completely avoid that. But what is Renko? It's what you see on this chart here on the right. It's these type of bricks that you see. What this helps us do is it eliminates the noise of candlesticks, because candlesticks can be very, if you're not really that experienced, I mean, it's very easy to get punked and chopped up and all that. So Renko is what you see on the right hand side. It compresses price action into price, not time. So basically, instead of counting time, even though you see a timer at the top right, this is not based on time. It's based on actual distance of price movement. So it cleans up the structure completely. That's why I use it for execution. All right, let's see here. If we can get underneath, we can get back underneath this swing high right here, then I think the sellers will get back in control. So that's the moment, right? This is the moment of truth, is we are pinning right at put support, 750s. I'm looking for a strong move below 734s, and maybe we could just re-enter some more contracts. There you go. Back to 200 ticks. You see me trailing loosely. That's because I'm hoping that this is simply a pullback and then we get the next expansion lower. But as of now, you just have to wait a little bit. They're still trying to prop above. We're trying to step in here. I got to get going, guys. Okay, I have to end the stream, unfortunately, but pretty decent trade here so far. Let's see if we can just, I'm going to give it like another 2 minutes here. They're battling here. I think buyers are really trying to step in. Put support. Can they reclaim put support? That's what it comes down to. Go back to a 1 minute chart. Oops. 1 minute chart. There we go. So we got the buyer and the seller here balanced in this area, in this range. So this is, price can stay above this level, then the buyers, sorry, if price stays below this area, then I would say sellers are going to stay dominant. So 734. And then we need to see price really just start going after these lows here at 1130. So the 1130 lows right here, this would be the magnet for the higher time frame 30-minute candle. So that's the opening print, 68. Let's see if we can take out this low here. I stream every day, buddy. Every day. every day. Come on, put support, work. So for those who trade moving averages, like you're looking at that 9 moving average, like I'm going to short that thing, so it's good. When we have that on the side of auction acceptance, right? You have the auction that failed above 2800s, or sorry, 800s. So they technically failed above put support again, right? That's a major level where we should expect strong buying to support price. They failed to hold. And now we are seeing price consolidate below. When we consolidate below the level, we spend time here. This is called building acceptance. So as we build acceptance, it just increases the odds that we're going to get more lower, right? More expansion to the downside. So when you put all these pieces together, it kind of just makes sense. It's like a big sporting event. It's like watching the World Cup between buyers and sellers. Buyers failed right here. Boom. That's the failure. So now you got this buyer. This was their opportunity. The buyer's opportunity to take back control was right here. They failed to do so. They failed to do so. Now we need this candle to close under 700. We close under 700. See, they closed right on it. They don't like that. Okay, but that's good. We're displacing away from it. As long as we don't start snapping back above, we are going to catch this thing and ride it back as far as we possibly can. The actual target is going to be 29,000s. I don't think we're going to get there today. That's way bigger than the expected range, but that was the overall draw. So let's see. I just had to be patient, man. I just had to be patient. I'm pretty sure people watching the stream like, bro, this guy can't trade. He didn't take any trades. He's hesitant. Yeah, I was hesitant. But I just needed to wait for things to set up correctly based on the timing, based on the location, based on the order flow, based on the Renko. So one trade, boom's all you need, and you're good. But unfortunately, guys, I got to jump off. You guys have a great rest of your session. I'll be back on Monday. If you guys got some value from today's session, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Obviously, it's a small channel. We're just getting things going here. So I'll be streaming every single day, posting some content to continue to share more of what we've built within the community, because these are all indicators that we've built, that we use. So our community is small, so it's not like there's a ton of people. So that's what's cool. So you'll have a chance to kind of be part of something that's a little bit more personal, I guess. Personalized and intimate, if you will. So let's see. You guys have a great rest of your session. I'm going to wrap up. You guys